Mario Kart World's been out for a little while now, and after spending a ton of time racing, it's finally time to rank the tracks. Today, I'm going through all 30 of the core 3-lap tracks you'll find in Verse Mode. No intermission tracks, no repeats like Crown City or Peach Stadium, just the full-on racing experience. I'm breaking things down tier by tier from D up to S, and giving my honest thoughts on what hits and what kind of flops. Whether you're deep into the game or still deciding what your favorite track is, this is for you. If you're into Mario Kart or Nintendo content, make sure to like, subscribe, and join our Discord. We're talking about all things Mario Kart World and beyond. Alright, let's jump into the list. Let's kick things off with the D tier. These tracks aren't awful, but they're definitely the ones I find the least exciting to race on. They might have cool aesthetics or a nostalgic value, but gameplay just does not hit as hard. So at number 30, we got Koopa Troopa Beach. On the surface, this track looks amazing. It's got beach party energy now, and I do love how they brought it to life compared to how plain it used to be. The remix of the original track music is catchy and gives off those good summer karting vibes. But once you actually play it, yeah, it kind of falls flat. It's still basically a 5-lap circle with very little to explore. Like, sure, it does get better and the aesthetic is great, but from a gameplay standpoint, it doesn't give you much to work with. Barely any shortcuts, and not a lot of tech to master. It feels like all flash and no substance. I'll give Moo Moo Meadows some credit. The playable cow definitely made it a popularity boost, and I'm all for that kind of charm, but let's be honest. We've been playing this since Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U, and that was over a decade ago. It doesn't really do anything new, and at this point, it feels like the same meal just reheated. I mean, it's not really bad, there's just nothing special going on. However, if you're new to the series, it's kind of fun, but for longtime players, yeah, it's just not as exciting anymore. This one hurts a bit to say, because I wanted to love it. Visually, this version is sick. It's been fully reimagined with this cool vibe like it's charging Chuck's home turf. But man, the actual driving experience in Choco Mountain just doesn't hit. It feels slow, clunky, and there's off-road almost everywhere. Even when you're trying to drive clean, you're almost always getting slowed down. Ironically, I think the version from the Booster Course Pass in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe felt smoother, even if it looked more simple. Props to Nintendo for going all out creatively, but gameplay-wise, it's also kind of a miss. This one's kind of frustrating. Starview Peak looks amazing, no doubt. There's this galactic ice vibe that's super pretty, but when it comes to gameplay, there's just not much going on. The turns aren't all that interesting, and the flow kind of drags. However, I do appreciate that one shortcut where you charge jump and trick into the grind rail during the water section. Yeah, that's pretty cool. The track overall feels like it took notes from Ice Ice Outpost, but didn't really take it far enough. It could have been more engaging if it pushed that multipath concept, but yeah, it's not something I'd be running back to often. Topping off the D tier is DS Desert Hills. Honestly, visually, this one is gorgeous, but also gameplay-wise, the changes they made took away what made it fun back in the DS and on Wii. The track is so much wider now, and it kind of loses that tight, twisty challenge it used to have. It doesn't feel as satisfying to drive anymore, but still, I gotta give props for the representation here. The Toko Tokos from Mario Land are kind of a cool touch, and it gave it a fresh vibe compared to the more Super Mario Bros. 3 heavy original. While it's not an annoying bagging track anymore, I still think it lacks something, and if it didn't, I probably would have bumped it up a little higher. And now we're heading to the middle of the pack, the C tier. These tracks aren't bad by any means, but they don't exactly stand out either. Some of them are fun in the moment or have nostalgic value, but they just don't really leave a lasting impression like others do. Still, there's some charm here, and a few of these I wouldn't mind seeing in rotation every now and then. So here are the C tier picks. Let's be real, Mario Bros. Circuit is your tutorial level. It's the first track you play in World, and its job is to introduce grind rails, wall rides, and basic turns. And it does that just fine. It's just that, after a few plays, there's really not much to discover. It's not meant to be a standout, but I will say it'll always have a soft spot for me. Seeing it in the trailers got me so hyped for the game. And I kinda like the setting too. It gives me Arizona vibes with a Super Mario twist. So not really bad, just a little basic. But here's one I was not excited to see return, until I actually played it. Mario Circuit is just not a copy and paste of a single SNES track. It combines elements from the first 3 Mario Circuits, which is a really cool twist. The transitions between each section are super smooth, and I love the visual detail, like the road color changes and the Super Mario Kart Easter eggs sprinkled throughout. Still, it's kind of a one-note experience. It plays like a tribute rather than something new. I mean, why not Mario Circuit 4, right? That one still has not made a comeback. Peach Stadium definitely feels like a successor to Mario Kart Stadium. It's got that big race day feel with the music and atmosphere hyping you up. And I gotta admit, the song gives me chills every time. It's that good. The weird part though is that it's technically the second to last track in the game, and I don't think it really earns that placement. It's fun for sure and a step up from earlier circuits, but it doesn't really bring that wow factor you'd expect this late in the lineup. It's clean, polished, but just not super memorable. And finally, we have Peach Beach. I was nervous about this one, I'm not gonna lie. In Double Dash, it was a super beginner-friendly track with not a lot going on, but World actually gave it some legs. Instead of doing 3 laps of the same thing, now you drive toward Peach's castle, cruise through some town areas, and finish off riding through the ocean. The Mario Sunshine vibes are strong with this one, and I absolutely love it. That being said, I feel like the second half of the track doesn't really offer much gameplay-wise. It's more visual flair than anything else. Still a chill experience, and I enjoy it, but just not enough to push it up higher. And here we are, getting to the good stuff. These are tracks that I genuinely enjoy playing and wouldn't mind seeing pop up often in the online races. They're not quite top tier or all-time favorites, but each one has something unique or exciting that makes it a solid experience. Let's kick off the B tier. Now this is a resort-style track done right. Salty Salty Speedway feels like Peach Beach's older, cooler sibling. The setting is gorgeous with that Venetian, Amsterdam canal-style design, and while it's 90% in water, I actually dig that. It can be tricky to handle at first, especially with how slippery it feels, but once you figure out the movement, cutting corners tighter and using the water flow to trick onto sidewalks becomes super satisfying. The elevation changes keep things dynamic, and the music, an absolute vibe. And ultimately, it's one of those tracks that grow on you fast once you learn its rhythm. Cheep Cheep Falls was not on my radar at first, but wow, did it grow on me. It's got this Autumn meets Japan aesthetic that totally gives off Origami King Chapter 2 vibes. Pagodas, lanterns, and a scenic river ride all blend together beautifully. Flying down the waterfalls is an adrenaline rush, and there are actually some sneaky alternate routes that add replay value. It's not the flashiest track, but it's something I've appreciated more and more over time. It's definitely a more solid mid-pack pick, especially if you like more of a nature-inspired cultural track. Honestly, I think Dandelion Depths is one of the most underrated tracks in the game. It might not have the deepest layout or any standout shortcuts, but it's a total vibe. The floating dandelions, the peaceful color palette, it just feels cozy. The cave section is a real highlight for me. Trick boosting off the rocks and water in there, super satisfying. And I'd be lying if I said it didn't remind me of the Wooded Kingdom from Mario Odyssey, which I totally love. It's more of a feel-good track than a technical one, and while it might keep it out of A tier, I still find myself smiling every time it pops up. Okay, so this one has a wild setting, literally. Elephants, giraffes, zebras, it's like a Mario Kart safari. I love how unique it is, especially the techie middle section that allows you to really show some skill. Plus the soundtrack, absolute banger. But here's the thing, if you took out the animals and tweaked the setting a bit, this track wouldn't really feel that special. There's something a little generic about the overall theme, and even if the setting should feel exotic. Still, it's cool that Mario Kart World gave us something this different. Just wish it had a little more depth to match its look. Oh man, Dino Dino Jungle is a nostalgic classic. I loved it back in Double Dash, and seeing it return here brought a smile to my face. They really brought the dinos to life, like the T-Rex coming at you full speed is straight up chaos. It's still got that classic layout I love, but the bridge doesn't feel as immersive, and that pit shortcut, way too easy now. They definitely shifted the theme to feel more like an archaeological lab, which works in theory, but I kinda miss the raw jungle feel. It's still fun, don't get me wrong, but some of the charm got lost in transition. Could just be my nostalgia talking though. Now this is how you remake a track. 3DS Warrior Shipyard feels like a complete reimagining in the best way possible. It ditched the old underwater driving for the slick wave race inspired water flow that actually works. The atmosphere is great too. From the stormy skies to Wario cackling as you drive into the haunted galleon, it all feels really immersive. There are multiple paths, solid shortcuts, and a great sense of speed. Sure, they removed a few things like the old water pipe and the anchor section, but honestly, I don't even really miss them. This is hands down the best version of Shipyard we've ever seen, and it's a strong closer for B tier. And now we're getting to the really good stuff. These are tracks I love picking almost every time, whether it's design, mechanics, visuals, or just how fun they are to race on. These feel like top tier experiences. Not quite S tier, but still deserving of high praise. So I know what you're thinking, Rainbow Road in A- tier? Hear me out. This is without a doubt the most beautiful Rainbow Road we've ever had. The new arrangement hit me emotionally, and I almost teared up. That being said though, it's long. Like, really long. When everyone's constantly picking it in friend rooms, it kinda loses that finale vibe. It's also not super punishing anymore, like falling off isn't a big deal, which kinda takes away the tension that the old Rainbow Roads had. Still, there are some magical moments like driving up into the track mid-race or cruising through that space station, and it's cinematic for sure, but not quite the challenge I personally crave. Still love it though, just not S tier love. Bowser's Castle is finally back, and it's fire, literally. I wasn't really a fan of Mario Kart 8's version because it kind of felt generic, but here, there's lava, danger, techie sections, and that wild cloud top-esque area with lava rocks flying at you while you're at max speed. Oh my gosh, so much cool shit. There are also some insane shortcuts too that make this feel more engaging than past iterations. Like, I also love how this version leans into the castle volcano hybrid without going too over the top. It's the first Bowser's castle in years that actually feel threatening, but also very fun. Easily one of the best Bowser castles we've ever had. DK Spaceport is wildly creative. Like, whoever came up with this needs a raise, because man does it work. It's inspired by the classic DK game, with the track zigzagging like those old school girders and barrels rolling down at you. The aesthetic and music echoes 25M perfectly, and every layer of this vertical map has something cool going on. The rails that you can grind, the launch pads, the final Robo DK segment, it's just full of character. Now I know some folks might find it too different from the usual Mario Kart vibe, but I'm all in for this one. It's creative, challenging, and full of heart. And up next we have our second DK track, DK Pass. Now this track didn't get overhauled too much, but the little additions made a huge difference. Shy Guy snowboarding? Absolutely love it. The new pole shortcut? Super fun. The addition to grind rails also bring the ski resort vibe to life, and I've always loved the layout for its comeback potential. This track just feels good. It's simple, snowy, and nostalgic, but now has more of a flavor that makes it worth returning to again and again. Boo Cinema had me hyped the second I saw it in the trailer. And yes, the memes about cinema are completely justified here. Driving inside a haunted movie theater, then literally entering the film? Peak atmosphere. The film grain effects and transitions feel straight out of a theme park ride, but layout-wise, it plays things a bit too safe. I was hoping for more alternate paths or hidden tricks, or maybe something clever with the film reels or secret buttons. Still, it's super fun and creative. It just feels like it almost went all the way, but stopped just a little short. The full version of Crown City is a total banger. I love how it's somewhat similar to Tour City tracks, and Mario Kart World expands on that in the best way. It's got verticality, city life, rooftops, parking garages, alleyways, and even a skate park section. It feels like you're driving through an actual massive city, with so many scenes to explore. I will say that lap 3 is the weakest part. It kinda slows down, but there's a killer shortcut at the end to redeem it. I just wish the boardwalk from the rally version made it into the main course. Still, I think it's one of the most impressive city tracks in the series. This remake of Shy Guy Bazaar is loaded with charm and creativity. The Arabian rooftops and the palace in the back that belongs to Daisy, tons of lore, tons of style. What makes this version so great is how open-ended it is. There are multiple routes, grind rails, wall riding sections. You can experiment every lap and still find something new. It's pure chaos in the best way, and let me just add that the reverse variation from the rally sends you through the palace, which is genius. I just wish that was snuck in the actual track in the final lap somehow. Okay, confession. I hated this track in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It was literally an oval with sprinkles, but in this game, it's transformed. Thanks to the new mechanics, Sky High Sundae feels like a freestyle playground. Grind rails, wall rides, alternate routes, you name it, it's here. It's got that skate park energy where the track gives you a canvas and says, go crazy. That's what really makes it shine. Also, I just love how Nintendo didn't scrap this idea. Instead, they made it pop with flavor. Pun intended. Toad's Factory was highly requested, and we finally got it back. They modernized it without ruining its vibe, which I really appreciate. Some changes are small but noticeable. The conveyor section lost its crates, and the late cut is now just a muddy terrain. But I really love the top route additions and the new steel beam trick jump. It's smoother now, maybe a bit easier, but still feels adventurous and satisfying to race. Toad's Factory is a strong example of how to update a fan favorite without losing what made it so special. This one had me a little worried. N64 Wario Stadium is long and winding, and I thought they were going to mess it up. But no, they gave it a gritty new aesthetic and turned it into a dirt bike arena, and it's absolutely fantastic. Wall riding here is next level, and the trick spots give you constant ways to stay ahead. And even though it's enclosed, it doesn't feel really claustrophobic. The track definitely kept the original's flow while adding just enough flair to feel it fresh. It's actually one of the few retro tracks that actually got better with time. And so we're closing A tier with Dry Bones Burnout, a track that basically says, hey, remember Bone Dry Dunes? Let's do that, but make it 10 times better. This track is vertical, experimental, and chaotic in the best way. It's got wall rides, off-road lava cuts, trick jumps, you name it. It feels like Sky High Sunday's older, edgier sibling. The theming is super cohesive too, bones and skeletal remains forming a track itself. It's a playground for skilled players and full of style, and easily one of the most fun rides in the game. And here we are entering the absolute peak of Mario Kart World. These tracks are just different, man. The vibes, the layout, the mechanics, these are my favorites in the game right now. So let's kick it off with Whistletop Summit. This was the first time we saw the full potential of grind railing, and it absolutely delivers. It basically feels like the dev said, you want movement options? Alright, bet. Here, you're flying across rails left and right, and it just feels so dynamic. I also love the Old West vibe. Pair that with a Cowboy Mario, and suddenly I'm in some alternate version of Westernland from Mario Party 2, which is heat. Now, I will say this track is deceptively technical. That charge jump into wall tech still can't land it consistently, but it's rewarding when you do. And what blows my mind is that this is a Mushroom Cup track. It has no business being this well designed. It's accessible but deep, perfect for casuals and sweatlords alike. It's one of the best starter tracks in the series, period. Up next, DS Airship Fortress. This one's always been a fan favorite, mostly because of vibes. The theme, the music, the airship aesthetic, but gameplay-wise, it used to feel a little straightforward. But here, not anymore. Mario Kart World turned this thing up to an 11. With the new physics, grind rails, and better cornering options, the track has been totally reimagined. You're no longer just driving, you're flowing through the fortress, dodging fire burners, tricking onto rails, and finding new ways to pass people. It's amazing how small additions make the layout feel brand new while staying faithful to the original. And shout out to the 05 in the tower, nice little nod to the original Mario Kart DS that was released in 2005. Only knock I have is the final spiral turn doesn't feel as clean as before, but the rest, yeah, this is a banger. My second favorite in the game right now is Acorn Heights, and man, this track is magical. It really gives off Wildwood vibes from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but somehow even better. The music, the visuals, the atmosphere, it all feels like you've entered this whimsical fantasy world straight out of a JRPG. The track starts on a massive tree way up in the northern part of the world map, and from there, it's a non-stop adventure. You're gliding across leaf platforms, bouncing off mushrooms, dodging giant falling acorns, and it's all paced perfectly. But what really makes this S tier is the mechanical freedom. You can grind rails on tall grass, wall ride cliffs, and just move in so many ways. It's like Mario Kart meets platforming, and it does it so well. This is what I mean when I say a track should feel alive. It's got implied lore, style, flow, and it's an absolute joy to race on every time. And finally, my personal number one right now is the Great Question Block Ruins. This track is breathtaking. Set in the sky with giant Mario-style ruins floating between clouds, it feels like you've stepped into a legendary hidden temple in the sky. It's giving Cloudtop Cruise, but in a different level. The architecture is gorgeous. The layout is dense and multi-layered, but it's never overwhelming. There's verticality pretty much everywhere. Platforms, bounce clouds, grind rails, islands tied together with chains, and even beyond the visuals, it tells a story. You feel like you're discovering something as you drive, like an ancient place that has secrets to unveil. Mechanically, it's also cracked. There's so many wild shortcuts and alternate routes that are still being found today. And the audience watching from the other islands? Oof, chef's kiss. Honestly, this might be one of the best designed tracks in the entire series. It's beautiful, challenging, fun, emotional, and it's just honestly addicting. So yeah, I'm obsessed. But if you've played it, you probably are too. And that's my full ranking of the 30 core tracks in Mario Kart World. No intermissions, no filler, just the classic 3-lap courses that you'll most likely be racing the most. So what do you think? Agree with the list or totally disagree? Feel free to drop your own rankings in the comment section below. I'd love to see what your favorites are. Anyway, there's more Mario Kart content on the way, so if you're into that, make sure to like, sub, and hit the bell so you don't miss a thing. And if you want to hang out, chat, or race with the community, the Discord link is in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.